We're live now.
Really?
All
Oh,
right.
beautiful.
Says it's preparing, setting up your meeting, loading,
Uh,
loading. Yes. Welcome to Paragliding Talk. I'm your host, Robert Michiels. I'm glad you're here. Sean's glad you're here. Well, I have bad news. Our guest is not going to be here tonight.
I got hosed.
Jessica is going to go flying, I'm pretty sure. And that's all. That's all. But tonight we have a great show lined up, and I am so glad that you're here. And we were talking about having a super bland Monday show, but it's Thursday and it's almost Friday, and tomorrow is going to be a great flying day. I think it's a good flying day right now. But we're going to talk about all things flying, and we're going to, before you leave tonight, before you go to bed if you're on the East Coast, before you go to your day tomorrow, you're going to be a safer pilot because you watch this show. You're going to learn something tonight. I don't know what it is, but every single show I learn something, and we're going to have a good time. There's 20 people already logged on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. So I've sent out a bunch of invites. Check your email. You may have got one. And we're going to talk a little bit about safety. Before we do that, we have an order of business. This show is brought to you by a bunch of different sponsors. I want to quickly rattle off those sponsors to you. The show is brought to you by Nebraska PPG. Josh Bowden and his group will help you to learn how to fly if you're interested in powered paragliding. Nebraska has a great school there. You want to go check him out. And there's a link in the description, or there will be eventually. Still working out the kinks with this whole thing on using Zoom and all the other things. So Nebraska PPG, the show is also brought to you by Resurgence PPG. Go to resurgencepPG.com if you're interested in supporting a veteran, supporting 501c3. Should we call it a business? Yeah, it is. It's kind of a business, huh? He's helping veterans get off the ground, helping them deal with the aftermath sometimes of being in battle or getting hurt or whatever it is. And such a great organization. You know, check that out. Todd Scandrett runs that. Nebraska PPG. Also, show's brought to you by Fly My PPG. FlyMyPPG.com. Mike Cotter and his group has a great school in Michigan. That's the MI. If you're interested in getting training there in Michigan. Actually, my brother messaged me today and saw somebody flying a powered paraglider in Petoskey. Pretty interesting. I wonder who it was. I was hoping that somebody on the show would know if somebody was flying around Lake Michigan. It may have been the guys from Fly My PPG. Let me know in the chats if that was you. Show's also brought to you by Para Orange Products. Larry couldn't be with us tonight. He's got some things that he's attending to. Go to paraorangeproducts.com. Paragliding products for parapilots by parapilots. You can go to Para Orange Products, paraorangeproducts.com. The show is also brought to you by ppgsmoke.com. Ryan Roberts has made all kinds of great things to make our sport more fun than it already was. If it wasn't already amazing, it's even more amazing. Go check out ppgsmoke.com. He donated about $10,000 worth of gear to the show. We give away stuff every single episode, every show for 52 weeks. I don't even know how many we have left. I mean, there's still, I think we're about halfway through the inventory. So you can win that if you go to paraglidingtalk.com/contest and fill out that information, and you can be a winner. Winner chicken dinner. Show's also brought to you by Tri-State Skywalkers. If you're in the Indiana, Kentucky, or Ohio area, reach out to Brandon McCloud on Facebook. Tri-State Skywalkers Flying Club aims to help the locals, friendship, and organization. If you're interested in starting a flying club, reach out to Brandon McCloud. He is a champion. Also, the show is brought to you by iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding. And if you're interested in flying paramotors, there's no better place to get the proper training than iFlyIndiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. iFlyIndiana.com. Thank you all for your sponsorship, everybody that's a part of it. I think you guys are great. Thanks for sending the swag. If you want to send more swag, if you want to see your stuff promoted on here and you're interested in advertising, you can send that stuff to the P.O. box in the description.
And look, Larry, look, I washed my shirt. I did that for Jessica, but see, I washed my shirt and everything. Representing. Yeah.
That is fantastic. People are finally starting to log in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here tonight. The chat is filling up. We have a great show tonight. We have a great thing lined up. Again, if you're just logging in and you're looking for Jessica Frump, so are we. So are we.
She
Fortunately, don't cry. You said you weren't going to cry.
I'm not going to.
Hold it together. Oh, hey, Super Dave's here. Welcome, Super Dave. Tony Moranz, is that Marzano? Welcome. Welcome. Mike S. Anthony Peregringo. Peregringo, he should be, as soon as he gets home, he's gonna have to join us. Nick Webster, welcome. Kelby Cox, welcome. There's my wife. She's in the other room. Welcome. So glad that you guys are here tonight. Mitch Briggs, Craig Taylor. I'm just going down the list to see who. Jim Lovett. You guys are awesome. Paramotor Crazy in the house. Jim Furman. Love Jim Furman. Glad that you guys are here. What I want to talk about tonight is some fundamental safety stuff. And when I mean fundamental, I mean really fundamental. Recently, there was an accident that involved a pilot who went missing. And he's no low-key person. He had, I think he had over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And just a great channel. The King of Random was his handle on YouTube. And I never got to meet the guy, but seemed like a nice guy. He started paragliding. And recently he went flying. They said that he went by himself. And he had an accident, and nobody knew for a while. And he perished in that accident, unfortunately. And we don't know all the details, and we're not going to try to figure out what happened, but we know that he was not very high off the ground, maybe 100 feet or so on his GPS. And they're analyzing, I believe, the GPS stuff and the video footage possibly. But there's a few things that I wanted to talk about involving that. One of those is one of the rules that I made in the beginning was not to fly alone. And if you talk to some of the old school guys, you're gonna find this common thread. A lot of people, hey, there's my dad. Hey, Dad. There's a lot of people that will say, and I'm talking guys that have been flying for years and years, that they won't fly alone. And it doesn't really matter your skill set or how incredible you are as a pilot. Things happen. We can't always predict the microclimate. We can't always know what the weather is going to do. Every once in a while, you get these gust fronts that come through. They have, competitions where sometimes hundreds of people are, lining up to go and fly in a competition. And in the middle of that, you've got weathermen, really narrowing down exactly what's going to happen. And still, I've heard stories where gust fronts come through and, people get hurt, people get grounded in weird places. And it's all about being safe. Now, so flying alone, free flight or paramotor, is a bad idea for a few reasons. And one of those is that if you have an incident, let's just give the simplest, since we're talking fundamentals, you have a motor out and it happens. I mean, we're flying these cheesy two-stroke motors that are more made for a weed whacker than for flying.
They're made to break. They're all made to break. Any motor, anything with a motor on it is made to break. That's just all there is to it. Eventually, it will happen. Something will break.
Something's bound to break. And that's the nature of the beast. Uh, it was Jeff Goen who said it's going to, not a matter of if, but when. It's going to happen. We know that it's going to break down because it's running. And simple motor out could be a life and death situation based on how quickly someone can respond to your situation. There's been times when I've flown free flight, and some of the guys that were with our group got up and went like 100 miles from the site where we're at. And one of those flying days, a guy went deep into we call it tiger country. It's just in the middle of nowhere, and he had to get a retrieve. Sometimes you're dealing with little or no cell signal. Sometimes you're dealing with a situation where you can't necessarily get your gear. Maybe you land in a tree. So the next thing I wanted to mention is having some kind of a tracking device. I use, and I'm not sponsored or anything, InReach Mini by Garmin is what I use. And there's you can get this relatively cheap compared to what the value is, if you want to put a value on it. But this thing's satellite connected. You can actually set up some text messages that they're instant text messages. If you really had to text individual stuff, you can still do that with this. It just takes a long time. But if you can have this with you whenever you fly, this is a great little machine. The other thing that I use is Fly Sky High. You can set up a way to connect your phone. Fly Sky High has, I'll just kind of show you. It has a little dashboard here. And then this is how I set mine up. But the app will send a signal to what I use is Live Track 24. And so you can actually live track where you're at, what you're doing. And then it's pretty nice because it connects your flying. It's like sorry, I'm scattered tonight. It's like a logbook. By the way, I need to update my logbook. Logbooks are critical, in my opinion, especially if you're trying to get your rating or keep your rating up. Back to flying alone. You fly alone. Let's say you have an incident where you hit the deck. There's a chance that, let's say that you just needed some light, maybe you're unconscious or something like that. Somebody knows that you went down. Somebody can help you, or know that you went at all. And if you had your GPS running, at least they'll know exactly where you were. The other part of it is there's, like with the Garmin, if you guys don't know, there's the way that this works is there's a little button on the side. Let's say you bail out, and if you're still good enough to open this up, you can press that button right there and then let it rip, and a helicopter is going to come, or whoever's going to come and try to get to you. Doesn't take long either. And that's the thing. If you fly with somebody, there's a much better chance of survival. Whereas if you're by yourself, it could be not a big deal turn into a big deal because no one found you overnight.
Could be as simple as losing cell phone signal stuck in a tree.
Right.
It's very simple, and it's very realistic too.
Yeah. We had a female pilot this last year that she went into, I'm not sure what, I want to say it was like an aneurysm, a type of aneurysm. I think they call it a brain bleed while she was in the air, and she ended up passing out in air. And then they say that she just coasted in some trees, and I don't even know if I I don't know if she hit the ground or what, or if what's, anyways, she went missing. There was a lot of people there. They started searching for her. They ended up finding her, and she was right on the edge of freezing because it was so cold. And they were able to save her life. She's flying today, and so flying alone is it's a dangerous thing. There's other reasons too. I mean, if you're flying with someone else, if somebody calls you and says, "Hey, let's go fly," and there's two of you, much better chance of learning stuff when you're with someone else. There's a problem, I think, personally, with people that are always flying alone, is that you're never really learning, you're never really stretching yourself, and I think that's critical for the sport. It's a very interesting line if you think about it, because there are times when you have to push yourself a little bit to learn, right? There are times when you need to press yourself a little bit to take it to the next level, and if you don't, you're going to be stagnant at that. Our sport's different in that when you push yourself beyond yourself, if you will, um, you're going to learn stuff that later on might. I'm trying to think of scenarios. You have a collapse situation, right? If you've never had a collapse situation, like the reason why I created this show is because of an event, Cascade event that I had at Palomar. And it was from what every person I talked to and everybody who watches the video says, "Oh man, that was a simple collapse and you turned it into too much with heavy hands." And I agree. I definitely had heavy hands in the whole thing, the whole Cascade. Lost about 1,000 feet in a minute, and full face down spirals, just total chaos, full G'd out turn. I mean, it was crazy. But I learned from that day because I was pushing, and I pushed just a little bit too hard, in my opinion. I was going on a day that I probably shouldn't have been out there. But that had to happen. Fast forward from that incident, months later, I was at another site. I was at Blossom, and I had went across El Cap, and it was a potential cross country day, and I was planning on going. So a couple guys had already left. They went over the back at El Cap, and I hit what I saw on the weather, which was a wind shear at about 6,000 feet. And so the two levels of air were pushing across each other like this. And so when I hit it, it was like I hit the ceiling, and my wing just started doing this and disappearing on me and collapsing in little micro collapses. And so I had enough sense to know that, okay, here's the wind shear. That's what it feels like, because I had already experienced it. And then I just spiraled down on purpose this time to get away from it. And then I headed back to the site. And so, saying all that, it's an interesting sport, because in order to excel, you've got to you have to kind of push your abilities a little bit. Sometimes you've got to grow. So if you're by yourself all the time, it's hard to grow. It's hard to advance. That is what's good about maybe watching a show like this, or reading a book, or talking to other pilots as much as you can, and try to learn from something I did in the very beginning days. Was I would just pick anybody's brain that I could, talking about, how do you respond to a collapse? What is it how did you know that it was going to collapse? You'll talk to guys in the free flight, especially, that you can feel it before it goes away. And there's something to feeling a collapse ahead of time. The right inputs in your brakes, you can feel it in your harness. You'll be flying along, and sometimes I can't describe it, I can't explain it, but you can literally tell that it's about to go away, sometimes on one side or on the other, but knowing what that feels like, and obviously having hours.
There is a difference with the motor. The harness feedback is different, but the same concepts apply with paramotoring and paragliding. And I don't do free flight paragliding, but from the kiting that I've done with the harness, with free flight harnesses, there is a like what you were saying, you can feel in the risers what's going on just from your hips. You can feel what's going on. With the motor, not so much, but you can still feel it. It's just a different sensation.
Absolutely. Well,
I do a lot of flying alone, but people know where I'm going. They know if I'm not back, there's something wrong. It'll be a while.
yeah, I'd recommend also dropping a line to somebody if you're planning on flying
Yeah.
and you're gonna go alone. Drop a line to somebody, let somebody know that you're gonna go, and the Fly Sky High app is pretty cool because if you set up the allowances, people can see where you're at. It's funny, I not too long ago I left my Garmin on, and I think I flew on a Monday, and then I went to work Tuesday, and I had my Garmin with me, and it was funny because I showed up to work and somebody texted me and said, "I know you're not flying at work, but now I know where you work," or something like that. And it was Brad, and he goes, "I think your Garmin's on," and I was like, "Oh, thanks," and I ran downstairs right away and turned it off. It was pretty funny. Skylar Costa said, "My wife and I share our locations via Google Maps." And if you're one of the people that says, "I don't want nobody knowing where I'm at," listen, Google already knows. They already know you. They know where you live. They know your phone number. They know what you're watching on the internet.
They know they can get you used to using a program, something like, and then drop it. Like,
Get you hooked on Google Hangouts and then turn it off
just turn that back on there.
just to see if you can survive.
That's cold.
52 people watching. So glad that you're here. Oh. I see some new faces. Super Dave, I'm glad you're here.
There's been some new people.
I think I've seen Tony around. Tony Marzano. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. Fly Swamper, what's up, man? I did send out some invites. If you're logging in and you're just creeping, go check your email because I sent out a few invites that you can come on live. Yes, we do want to give some stuff away. Why don't we give something away?
Yeah,
let's. Hey, ding dong!
got a ding dong.
Got a visitor. Anthony Peregringo's with us tonight. Welcome, Anthony Peregringo.
Oh, little feedback. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got some headphones? No?
Let me check. I'm going to put it on mute for right now.
It's your world. We just live in it. Okay, let's give away a Toe Pro. Reaching into the Toe Pro box.
See, the time you start saying something about giveaway, the chat blows up like crazy. I'm trying to get this one name.
Wow!
I know. I'm
I
running
think
out.
most of these people have already won Toe Pros.
I don't know. I have yet to win a toe, bro.
That is the goal. Craig Taylor.
Okay.
So check it.
We've got several new people in today. It's kind of cool, you know.
I love it.
They were looking forward to Jessica being here too, you know.
I know.
Glad
We'll have Jessica on eventually. But
oh yeah. When it works for everybody, absolutely. You know, she was a good guest. I was just, looking forward to it, you know. All right, so from this point on, I'm done putting names in this spinner wheel of doom. So here we go. Yeah, we're gonna.
oh wow!
Boom! All right, you ready?
Let it rip.
All right. What are they winning?
They're winning a tow pro. It's a blue one.
A blue one.
Yep.
All right.
His name is in there. My dad and mom are both in there. That's hilarious.
They're in there.
Say my name. Say my name.
Aaron's in there too.
No, they are not allowed to win.
Well, they're in there. Hey, they're in the chat. They're in there. Hey, that's the rule.
Okay. No, I'm with you. It's your
I put your name in there when you're in the chat, but you weren't in the chat. So sorry, dude. You know.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah. Well, it's fixed, but not fixed. It's fixed so you won't win. See?
All right. Spin the wheel.
Here we go. The Wheel of Plume. Who's it gonna be? Oh, lucky Mama Linda Anderson. Wow. Congratulations, Mama.
I already gave her a shirt too.
That's gonna be I kind of look forward to seeing some of those videos she's gonna be sporting with the Toe Pro.
Oh, the Toe Pro. Moms are not allowed to use Toe Pros because she'll call me to ask me how to connect it to her shoe.
How do I turn this thing on?
How do I do this?
Hey,
this is the Toe Pro that I've been using. Check this bad boy out. It's got a flying monkey. Nice. And I made a couple videos with it recently too. It's pretty fun. I just got an email from Craig Taylor. He wants to donate. Listen to this. Garmin InReach Mini via Paragliding Talk.
Wow.
Yeah. So before the end of the show, 5 minutes before the show ends, he wants to give that away. He said, I'm going to donate a Garmin InReach Mini.
Holy crap. You want me to spin the wheel for that one?
That's what he said.
All right.
That is pretty amazing. Craig Taylor, you are the man.
Yeah.
I wonder if Craig Taylor can come on the show. I'll send him an invite. Right, here we go. I think I remember him being on let me see here.
Yeah, that's way awesome. I've got everybody that's been in the chat in there, just saying pretty solid. I don't have any doubles. So
sent. Oh, I can smell dinner. All right. Invitation sent. You're gonna have to spin the wheel again, bro. I can't give this to my mom.
Okay.
I'm not gonna know what to do with this.
If I gotta spin the wheel again, I'll do it.
I'm gonna give her something else. I'll let you guys know. I gotta pawn. Oh, I can send her a sticker. She's getting a sticker. Mom, congratulations. You want a sticker? I'm gonna write it down right now.
All right, yeah.
Paragliding Talk sticker.
Sticker.
All right. Spin it.
Much better use, I'm sure. Okay, here we go. Hang on here. I got to get back to this. Okay. Yeah. Technology. Look at me go. Boom. You ready?
That's amazing.
Well, it's spinning. Here we go. Who's it going to be?
He's getting good at it.
Who's it going to be? Oh, Aaron Michiels.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, you see it on the screen.
She's literally in there right now.
Hey, it's supposed to be random. It's random. So we should have us a little, a little kiss session there for this. See, congratulations there, Michiels.
Oh, all right. Come get your Toe Pro.
You want the Toe Pro.
I never win anything. Give it to me.
Congratulations.
Woohoo!
Get out of here.
Now, what are the odds of that?
59.
What are the odds? Yeah. So your mom wins one, then your wife wins one.
1 out of 59 is pretty good.
What are the odds? 1 out of 59, that's like more than that because
this wheel is definitely rigged.
Well, you know what? We should give away something else and see if one of the kids gets pulled up. And then that's Google playing games. Okay.
Mike S said shipping included. All right, send it. We got more things to talk about here. Spin that wheel again.
All right, here we go. Okay, I'll make this legit here. See, look, I'm even sharing my screen, y'all. You ready? Here we go. It's spinning. Oh, it. Steel mesh.
Steel mesh. Mesh. Writing this down. Congratulations, Steel Mesh. You are the winner, chicken dinner. You win a Toe Pro. And you don't get that one.
Oh, yeah.
Putting your name on it right now. Send me a message in the chat. Not in the chat. Go to paraglidingtalk.com and then send me your information in the contest or contact page. And I'm going to send this out. And that's the shipping pile right there. Congratulations. The next thing that I wanted to talk about concerning safety is weather and predicting weather. There's a couple different websites that you can use. There's a couple different websites that I use, and I'm open to ask you guys what you guys use. But I really like a few different apps, and I want to just kind of briefly show you what those are. The main one that I use for Southern California, and this is kind of the cheater. I use what's called the Soaring Predictor, soaringpredictor.info. Now, this is mostly a Northern and Southern California thing, but it gives me a breakdown of the sites. Actually, I could just pull this up online. So it's not an app. Steel Mesh. He's actually in the chat right now.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Steel Mesh. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure. What did you ask? Oh my gosh. I made the mistake to look at the chat. Aaron asked me a question. I missed it. I asked a question, Robert Michiels.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble.
That's a question. That's right, Jim. I have to read all this stuff. You're going to have to ask the question again. I don't know what it was. Oh, wait. Nope. Nice Falcon jet. Thanks, Jim. Sorry, back on track. Soaringpredictor.info. It's a really quick breakdown. Let's do a screen share, and I'll pull this up real quick. You guys are going to like this if you're in Southern California, and I don't know how many other ones. Predictor. Let's do this real quick. The Southern California Soaring Predictor. I think there's a bunch of different places that different sites that this one will give you predictions for. Let's do this. And don't you want to see what I'm looking at? Screen share, desktop 2, share, boom. Okay, you should be able to see what I'm looking at here. You guys all good on that? Okay, so if you look closely, I've got my favorite sites here, Torrey Pines and Blossom, Horse Canyon, Little Black. And if you look, this is the day, Thursday, and you go down the line and it just tells you what it predicts that you're going to get above launch. So there was a group of guys that were going to go to Horse Canyon today. The above launch is 8,000. So that's going to be about 10,000 feet because I think launch is at least 2,500, something like that. So let's click on that. And it's going to give you the breakdown, the local time, the temperature, high temp, puddle temp, and then the wind, mile per hour, and direction. And then this is what the thermal ceiling looks like. And so look at that, prime time, 13,000 feet is what they're saying. And then 1 p.m., they're saying that you could get to 8,000 feet above launch. And so this takes a few different things into consideration. Anyways, that's a quick one that I look at, and it has all the sites that I want to look at. If you go back, let's go to Soaring Predictor. Here's the different places that it'll give you details. So Northern California, Eastern Sierras, Santa Barbara, Southern Arizona, Flagstaff, Tahoe, Colorado, Washington, Oregon. So anyways, pretty cool what they've put together. These guys, the author Tad Hurst put that together. He'd be a good guy to have on the show. Huh? I think I might reach out to him. But soaring predictor, really convenient, really nice. One of the other ones that I use is XC Skies. Now there's a paid version for this. You're going to need to, you're going to need to pay for this. XC Skies has everything that you can imagine. And there's so many really cool things. I don't know why it's making me log on and do all this stuff here. Let me just go to my forecast. I'm not going to break all these down. We've done a show. Go back and look at the show that we did with Jordan Niedinger. Incredible show on weather. I don't remember what episode it was. It's in the 50s, but incredible show on weather. And we need to have him come on the show again. This gives you all kinds of details. One of the things that I do first thing is I look at what the wind is doing. So this is set up for me. This area here on the screen is Blossom. And what I do is I check the wind direction. It is completely nuclear south. So it would be really tough to launch. Now I'm checking the high res. These indicators are different reporting agencies. And I wonder how south it is right now. Most of the reports are saying just southwest. Again, I bet you it's a great day to go horse. Horse is down here. Yeah, it looks perfect for horse. I check the wind direction. Then I look top of usable lift. And then I'll check the, in case there's going to be clouds, I'll check cloud base and updraft velocity. It's going to give you an idea of what you're dealing with, thermal top uncertainty. But the main thing that when I log in, I'm just kind of checking wind direction and check to make sure that the wind speed is not out of control. And then you can check your different times during the day and what time everything kind of falls off. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's another one. This one is called Windgrams. Let me turn that off here. Let's go to Windgrams. Windgram. Southern California Windgrams on the soaring predictor. Now this is again, Southern California. It is what it is. You just have to deal with it. Ah, man, I hate when it does this. It's split in half. Anyways, it'll take you a little time to figure it out, how it works. But if you look on the bottom, Windgrams, see, these are little paragliders. This is the time. So at 3 o'clock, they were saying that you could potentially get up to 3,499 feet. This gives you the idea of lapse rate or your updraft velocity. And then it'll show you where your inversion is typically. Anyways, pretty nice. Little black, Tory. Yeah. And at a quick glance, you can check these to know what's going on. Now, I'll give you some food for thought. If you're going to be checking weather ahead of, let me just stop my share here. If you're going to be checking weather, what I recommend, even if you're not a pilot yet, maybe you're still in the process of getting your rating, or you're still on the ground. There's a lot of people that watch the show that haven't even flown yet, and there's nothing wrong with that. Start checking weather now. Start learning the weather, and like if you're going to go kiting at the park, it's nice to start checking, to start getting a handle on it. I did that long before I started flying. I was checking the weather and trying to predict what was going to happen. And this is so critical. We've had guys on this show that are grounded and got hurt or different things because of they missed something in the weather. And it's such a critical thing. Before you go fly, check the weather. And obviously your paramotor guys, you wake up early in the morning so you can get the smoothest flying. There are times when you could fly if you just knew the weather. There are times when you didn't have to get up at 5:30 in the morning because for whatever reason, the wind was good and the thermals weren't super strong at 10 o'clock. It happens, not so much in the summer because if you're still flying 10, 11, 12 o'clock, you're starting to hit thermals. You're starting to hit, bumps. I mean, if you looked at horse was 13,000 feet, was the cloud base. That means the thermals are going to take you to 13,000 feet potentially at 12 o'clock. So midsummer, midday flying, probably not a good idea. But there are going to be times when you understand the weather, when you could fly, when you didn't really think you could if you knew the weather, if you were able to study the weather. There's 2 other apps that I use for wind. Oh, I like that shirt, Anthony. Very nice. Representing. Change the view here. Yes, Mark Amundsen, come on the show. Yes. Check.
Oh, I haven't heard from Mark in a long time.
Email. Yeah. I saw he's been posting videos, so I know he's still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Can run, but you can't hide, Mark. Here's the other website or app. I'm sorry. This is a nice little app. Now, I did buy the app. I got the Pro. It's called Wind Finder. And this one's really nice. You set up the places where you're constantly going. And yeah, you're not going to be able to see that. But you can basically get wind direction, wind speed, and it gives you a really detailed analysis of what the wind's going to do, the strength and direction, and it'll give you some pressure stuff. It'll tell you what the barometric pressure is, and that is such a critical thing. I didn't realize how important barometric pressure was until I dirted a couple times on high pressure days. Yes. Kevin can fly. You're the rock star, Kevin.
Here in Ohio, we have so many high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low that pick a day, doesn't matter. You know?
You don't know.
You don't know. And it very well could call that, a low front's coming in, but it might take a minute. And it might take a while for it to hit. But when it does, you'll know it.
Yeah. There is something to be said about fronts. When a front moves through, for free flight guys especially, when a front moves through, especially when a high pressure load is just sitting on top of us and then a low pressure front comes pushing through, that's the best flying. Usually that means, in most places, that means rain. In our case, not during the summer. But there's a low front pushing in tonight. I think tonight would have been a really good night. That's why Horse was so big. And I think a group of guys went out there. I'm not sure, but I'm trying not to think about that because I'm focused on the show.
Kind of hard when you're checking the weather.
I know.
Live, and you're like, oh, look at this place. This place is wonderful. Oh, it's so great. And then you're like, oh, I better stop looking at this.
Literally out my back window.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my word. The third thing that I want to talk about, and again, I really appreciate everybody who's staying with me tonight. I know we don't have Jessica Frump on the show.
We got 62 watching.
Yeah, it's a miracle. It's a miracle that we have any, because since YouTube changed the thing, I can't set it up on the show. I can't set up the link on paraglidingtalk.com. Used to be able to put the link on there. You could just go to the website and then you could click the link and sit there and chat for 2 hours before the show.
This new Zoom, I guess one of the things I noticed, I was a little bummed, you can't do any pre-show chat. So
yeah.
A couple people in the chat already mentioned it.
I know.
So they got it all out right at exactly 6 o'clock.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way to get around that. I'll figure it out eventually. What I don't want to do is load these, 2-hour long dead videos where we're not, nothing's going on and it's just the chat for 2 hours. Nobody cares about that. Okay. Although the chat is very important. I don't think that this show is worth anything without the chat. Honestly, it makes it so fun. Even if I'm not even if I'm interviewing somebody and they're just rattling on, I really like those guests, by the way. They're just rattling on, going. And I just kind of zone out and I'm in the chat. And then I have to literally go back and watch the show because they're teaching really good stuff.
Sidebar.
Yeah. It's all about the chat. Kathy Bailey.
Hey, I usually would be in an hour before the show just to get everybody's name in there because it would start like an hour before the show. I wouldn't let people know I was in there. I'd be all quiet and just like, stealth it.
This is Kathy Bailey's thing. It's for it's her windsock thing. I still haven't shipped it.
Look, you're slacking, dude. You're busted. You're busted.
It's going on the shipping table. This is all the shipping stuff.
Today you're busted.
I haven't gotten my third Toe Pro yet, Robert.
You should send a sticker just for the inconvenience.
Third? Anthony, I need you to text me.
Honestly, I think I'm the most winning person on this show.
You're right.
I hate to say it. I mean,
well, you've got one for your hand. Now it's a hand pro.
I only have 2 feet.
Toe Pro on each foot.
A toe pro on each foot and a hand pro. So hopefully you've got 3 cameras at least.
What's up, Tony?
Mike S is looking at me right now in the chat and he goes, "You haven't shipped that yet, Robert?"
Oh,
I don't know.
And listen, Mike S been he and I have been going back and forth in chat every week. He's been waiting for a Toe Pro or Smoke or something. I think he won Smoke, or I'm not sure what he won like 3 weeks ago. Finally, he got it. I mean, he was like 82 down and none, So
he won.
I see other people get it.
He did win. I heard you got to fly the other day. Paragringo. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been grounded for a month and a half. I think I have the $6 million paramotor. Everything on it's been replaced, brand new, and it's got it flying. I went down to Baja and was hanging out with my instructor Casey Codwell and another guy Anthony. But beautiful weather. Really picked up though on Wednesday, so I saw that coming in. So I only came down like Monday, Tuesday. Got a chance to get a couple flights in, and then a couple things. There was it was almost like one thing after the other. On the throttle, I've got a Vortex pistol throttle, and there was a screw that screws in just at the handle part, and I screwed it in too tight. And when the motor ran and I made contact and I touched the thing, and it would shock me. I'm like, where's that coming from? So I didn't realize I screwed it in too tight. So obviously, packed it out and whatever, but it went into the wires into the cable. So
what in the world?
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine getting shocked in midair?
Serious.
That happened to me once. I was out kiting, and I keep one of those little stun gun dealers, ward off dogs and whatnot. And I had it in my back pocket. Don't kite a glider with a stun gun in your back pocket because your butt it flexes like this, and you twist and you're like, and you're trying to control the glider while not catching your butt cheek on fire. That happened. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Were you recording that? That would have made.
Actually, I was. I was recording. It was before my training and everything, and I was I could tell. Yeah, you could hear it. I was like, that's a pain in the rear.
My wife just asked. Oh no!
And I'm getting tips for that little story. You see,
I wanted to tell Aaron I ate a bug.
Oh, you ate a bug? No kidding. You swallowed it or you spit it out?
Oh, it's protein. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Spit it out. I didn't know what it was. I watched it too. Yeah.
I've had stuff hit me
hanging your head out the window. You're gonna get it. You're going 25 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Y'all have them June bugs out there?
Yeah. Are you talking about the emerald bugs or the little June bugs?
No, it was a black. I don't know what it was. It was black and nasty.
You get these ones that are like the size of a stinking quarter or something, smack you in the forehead.
Yep. Those
Japanese beetles.
Those are good for you. The ones that are like green, emerald green, those are great. When I was a kid, I used to catch those, and then we'd tie a little string to them and fly them around. They're really fun. And my wife said, ew. Yeah, they won't hurt you. Those ones can't bite you. Where are these guys? I sent out all these messages to these guys.
They're probably downloading Zoom, man.
No, they're just being
yeah. Your computer's probably got an error.
Is it? I mean, it seemed like it downloaded pretty fast for me. So.
Yeah, I downloaded pretty fast for me. But
oh yeah,
I got a couple of errors. I got a couple of errors, like when I signed into it today on it. As a matter of fact,
really?
I took a picture of it because it said something about like call Windows and discuss stop something. I got a picture of it on my phone actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about, but it happened twice, and I'm kind of surprised that the computer hasn't done it again, because it did it a couple times. Yeah, this is what it showed me. It's not going to show. Hey, look, I disappeared completely. Yeah, that's technology for you. You see right there.
Oh, yeah.
Little code and everything with a little frowny face. Like, yeah, they're Googling it up too. Yeah. It says
Father.
It says your PC ran into a problem, needs to restart, just collecting some error info, then we'll restart you. And then it says, if you call a support person, give them this info. Stop code, page fault in non-paged area. Failed net WTW06 sys, whatever the heck that is.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a sys, whatever.
Anywho,
yeah.
I'm paying for this thing, so it better work really good all the time.
I hope so.
Yes.
I've got everybody's name still in here. That's still in the chat and everything. Just saying, in case if Anthony wants another toe pro for his other hand,
I've got a flying group that I'll be giving my third toe pro. I already gave one of them to one of my guys. So we've got a fly-in. Hey, Robert, are you going to be at Nichols Field down in Otay? This Sunday is having a fly-in. Should be really cool.
Really?
Yeah, and they're allowing us to fly paramotors for the second time in quite a few years.
No kidding.
Nichols Field down in Otay, 8 a.m. I think or so. They'll have skydivers. They usually just normally do skydiving there, but they're gonna have a fly-in. It should be pretty cool. We're gonna have probably about 10, 12 guys maybe. Max and Para,
get out of here.
A couple guys, local guys from here.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Father's gonna be there.
Might have to show up there. Just to watch, obviously, because I don't have a paramotor yet. I will get one. You wait and see.
Of course you're going to get one. We see you smile like a little schoolgirl inside of a candy factory every time you talk about one.
I will get one. The only reason I need one is so on days when I miss the ride.
Can't see me.
Awesome. Craig Taylor in the house.
Yeah.
Can't see me.
Got your camera on.
They're yelling at me. Because they can't see me because it's dark.
Yeah. It's just dark in there. He's there. It's just dark.
What the heck?
In an underground bunker.
I'll turn a light on in the kitchen or something for a minute.
Craig is finding his camera. Bob Father made a correction. So yeah, we are flying earlier. Paramotors are flying. I think we're going to be first, like it was last year, 6 a.m. to 7:30. So if you want to see us fly or you are a pilot that's qualified, I guess. So, I don't know. You got to sign a waiver. So it's 7:30. So we'll fly a little bit around the lake.
Paramotor Crazy had a question. He said, why do I think he meant paragliders, rock back and forth right before landing? Typically when you're landing, if you're probably referring to Blossom. Hey, there's Craig. One of my favorite pilots, by the way. So glad you're on the show. This is the first time you've been on Paragliding Talk. Welcome.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome. The answer to the question for David is the wind is usually coming up the face of the hill, and you can't get down like normal. Chances are you're going to overshoot because of the way that the wind's coming up, and so you can burn off altitude by swinging back and forth and rock back and forth. So the alternative is some guys will flap so they can maintain a heading. Some guys will pull big ears, which is very rare, but some guys will do that. And then, I mean, if you set up right, you can do it. There's a risk of being too far back and go into the rotor area or get stuck in the venturi, kind of in the back of launch. So it's a very fine line. I just got comfortable being kind of still in the lift band and just do some turns and back and forth. It's not the best thing to do, but it's really fun. Yeah. Flapping is an advanced technique. That is correct. Now, flapping, in my opinion, is a very poor technique. And we had this discussion with one of the other guys. It was Chris Cote that we were talking about this. Flapping literally is because you screwed up your approach and you're having to make an adjustment. Now, it's a nice tool to have in your toolbox, but it just shows a mistake on your prediction, I guess you will. Every time you're flying, every time you're coming into a landing, you're making mental predictions. You don't know what the wind is going to do per se. You could be flying right into a thermal that's creeping up the side of the hill. You could be flying into a lull where your airspeed is going to be really hot and you're just kind of sinking. I've dirted pretty hard a few times thinking that there was just going to be great lift. And obviously this is a free flight. So I've seen it happen with paramotors too. You come into land, there might've been a thermal a few feet in front of you, and it was sucking all the air from everywhere around that little patch where you're about to land, and you just get dumped. And I just saw Kyle Lowe had that happen to him. He didn't hit the dirt, but he had a nice hard landing on, I think it was the last video that he posted. But that happens. So anyways, that's a long answer to your short question. Paramotor crazy.
That'd be more like a laminar air kind of thing anyhow, I would think. You know what I mean?
Guys come in hot for a landing and do a full spin on the ground before they land. Like a full 360.
Yeah.
Start the turn into the wind, do a full 360, touch the wing on the ground, maybe drag their hand on the ground, and then come into a landing.
You mean they do that on purpose? No.
Yeah. The guys on water where they land on the little pad in the middle of the lake. I'm like, oh gosh, how do they do that? I will do it one day.
Take some skill, that's for sure.
Said Stephen Nowak does that. Steve Nowak just dropped a really nice video.
Yeah.
Sat into a helicopter. That was super cool. Oh, misty landing. Kevin, you are right. That misty landing looks like it can be useful too. If you lock that in, I think you get a special like allowance. There's extra doors that are open for you when you can do that landing. You could probably use it in a few different scenarios. Yeah. Maybe we should have somebody on the show that does that often. You know who we need to get on the show again? Max Martini.
Yeah.
He hasn't been on the show in a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely. He's a great guest.
So we're down to the last couple minutes. The winner of the PPG Smoke Chase Cam Lamels floats, and what was the other thing? Lamels, Chase Cam, PPG Smoke, floats. Anthony already won everything. The winner is Brad Garvey. Congratulations, Brad Garvey. You are the winner chicken dinner. I'll be sending you an email with the details of your winnings. Thank you for watching the show, and thank you for being a part. If you're interested in getting into that, maybe you're watching the show and it's already aired and it's not live anymore. You can still get in for this contest. Go to paraglidingtalk.com/contest and fill out those details. A couple guys are talking about the floats. You can go to ppgsmoke.com and check out all the things that Ryan Roberts has created. And by the way, everything is really reasonably priced, and I think everybody would agree. And that was his goal. Ryan was, when he started making the smoke machine, he was literally saying, man, I've got to figure out a way to make this more affordable and better. And he did. Yes. So we're going to give away a Mini. Tell us about that, Craig.
Well, I think, in lieu of recent events, it seems like every other week somebody's coming up with a tragedy in the sport, and if you think that one of those may be able to help a little bit, then it may not. Let's see if it can and will. See what happens.
I think that's a great thing. If you don't have one, ask yourself the question, why not? And if the answer is money, then that's a problem, because we don't have to fly. We don't have to go out and fly. It's just for fun. It's leisure. We're not doing this to rescue people. We're not doing this to bring food back to our family or something. We literally just do it to scratch an itch because we're addicted. And that's the fact. To have this, if you weigh out the reasons to have it as to not to have it, I would say that this is equally as important as your reserve.
That'd be the risk is worth the reward.
Absolutely. And I mean, this, if you're a free flight guy, this weighs ounces. I mean, it's ridiculously light. And so for paramotor guys, not a big deal on weight usually. And it's something you could just stuff in a pocket. You turn it on, stuff in your pockets, it's still going to work,
So do I spin? Do I spin it?
Spin it.
Oh boy. Oh, all right, here we go. I got everybody in here now. Look at this. Look at all this loveliness here.
You didn't have time to rig it up.
Look at all this loveliness. Yeah. Okay. So everybody's name's in there. You ready? And here we go. Ooh boy.
Go Vanna. Go Vanna.
Yeah, I know, right? Paul McClure.
Paul McClure.
Congratulations, Paul. Awesome.
McClure. Congratulations, Paul McClure. You win the Garmin. Do you want to say it's the Mini, right? Same exact one as this one?
Yeah, I thought that would work.
Perfect. So reach out to me and we will get you connected with Craig Taylor and those details. You guys can work those things out. I really appreciate you doing that, Craig. And by the way, you've been more than generous to the show, and I really appreciate that. Did you get a shirt yet, by the way?
No.
Paragliding Talk? You need one. Let me, what size shirt do you wear?
XL.
XL it is.
You know, it's funny.
Your sport.
I just rolled the wheel and your name just came up for a t-shirt, Greg.
Sweet.
Just boom. I mean, it's like, wow, what are the odds of that?
That's how I won Lori Kadakis's gloves, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, man. It's like the odds of Kathy Bailey saying she never wins anything, then boop, she won.
She won.
Paramotor Fly Girl, she won too, just like that. Boom, Yeah.
It's definitely rigged, Sean.
Hey, Craig, where are those gloves? Have you worn them, or are they? What size are they? Or
they're inside of
a glass box somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Pretty cool.
plan for the gloves was to build like a shadow box of
Nice
sorts, I guess, for lack of a better term, and put them together with some other stuff and magazine and some of the information about the flight that Lori did with them, and resubmit them into the community again for further fundraising to more resurgence benefits, I guess is how it goes. So yeah, I wasn't planning on wearing them or keeping them for myself, but I'm working on putting them together into a good piece that should, maybe go to somebody that can enjoy them. And if not, then maybe they can just be passed around and end up on school wall somewhere or back to resurgence themselves, whatever it is.
Super cool, man. Well, I really appreciate that. And you've been a supporter of the show for a long time, and that means the world. And I really feel strongly about education in this sport. There's what's different about most things is everybody is extremely hungry to learn. And that's what makes this exciting for me. And the fact that people are interested to come. I mean, I think we were up to like 65 people watching the show. It means the world to me that people would show up every week and watch. And like even tonight, we didn't have a special guest, but what a blast, right? Super
That's
fun.
Awesome.
So I really appreciate all the sponsors, by the way. If you're a sponsor, thank you for what you do for the show. Nebraska PPG, Resurgence PPG, Fly My PPG, Para Orange Products, PPG Smoke, Tri-State Skywalkers, iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding. And if you haven't checked out some of these guys' websites, do them a favor, say what's up to them. Go, even if you're not buying stuff from them, just go take a peek and say that you care. And so thanks again, guys. We're going to call this a wrap. We're going to go to the after show. Really appreciate everybody who's in the chat and your comments and being a part of the show. We'll have some great guests coming up in the next few weeks. The flying season is dialing back just a little bit, and I think that's why the shows have been a little bit hard. I literally think that Jessica went flying. I can't guarantee it, but I have a feeling.
That's cool.
Good for her.
Good for her. That's what I said. Go fly. So be safe. And thanks again for watching. Congratulations to all the winners. I mean, I have a whole sheet of people who won stuff. Congratulations. And my wife asked if she could trade the Toe Pro. Of course you can. Of course you can. You let me know what you want.
Well, she's got to give it to Linda.
Yeah.
I didn't see her hit the super chat yet.
No, she did. She did earlier with a dog.
Oh,
There she goes again.
Wow. You're welcome, YouTube. You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go to the after chat, and thanks again. We'll see you on the next one. If I don't see you on the air, I'll see you in the air. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
watching.